through the top 5 most common branding mistakes that I see a lot of tech companies make. I know I say tech companies here, but I truly believe if you're the owner of a small business, even if you're a personal brand, you will find some insane value in understanding these mistakes because maybe you're doing it too, and it's important to be able to catch it. Let's get started with the number 1 mistake that I see a lot of tech companies make is they don't keep it simple. They overcomplicate their message. Like I said in the first video, this oftentimes comes from an inability to effectively communicate their purpose and their promise, but oftentimes it gets muddled in very complicated messaging. Now, if you think about why this is so important to avoid making this mistake, it's because the entire purpose of a tech company is to make our lives simple. I've worked with a couple companies where the idea of simplicity was literally in the name. It was literally in the tagline. Yet when you interact with any of their marketing materials, with their website, with the way that they talk about themselves, their messaging is anything but simple. This is often mostly from a language perspective. Have you ever been to the website of a tech-based company and seen some really cool tech-based designs? Maybe they have a super responsive website, maybe they have some really interesting visuals, some dynamic colors, anything to keep you visually hooked, but as soon as you read a paragraph, you have to reread it multiple times because you just don't understand what is being said and why you should care. That is because they have not done the work up front to completely simplify their messaging. So how do you avoid this? Well, when I work with tech companies and business owners involved, especially with a complicated product that is supposed to make people's lives simpler, I always advise being able to talk about your product or service in 3 sentences or less and in 5 sentences or less, okay? Those are the sweet spots where you can adequately, you have enough space, you have enough words to be able to talk about the problem, talk about how you solve it, and talk about why people should care. So do not underestimate the value of a boilerplate, not just in PR, but in your internal training, in your marketing material to have a consistent bio. You can always, always, always expand on it, but it is much harder to then condense and simplify an encyclopedia of words that someone must read just in order to understand the main point of your brand. So a great way to do this is to ask some people who are maybe unfamiliar with your product to read some of your materials, to then tell you, repeat back to you what they think your message is. And that will really help you understand where you've gone wrong and what isn't working. Feedback and testing is extremely useful to overcome this. A great next step is to meet with your team or even to work with a branding specialist, have somebody from the outside come in and really be able to condense and simplify your messaging. Your customers will thank you. Great. So that is the number 1 most common mistake I see in tech branding. If you want to stay tuned for number 2, then please click the next video.